What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 5 of the Wolfburger podcast, video cast, all the casts, the all that cast. I'm here today with Lexi Layne, who's a singer, songwriter, actress, model, everything under the sun, all in one. How are you doing today?
I am fabulous. How are you?
Busy, but good.
Busy is good, you know?
Busy is excellent. I mean, there's
Yeah.
things to do. So, how did you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm 29 years young. I live in beautiful, sunny Los Angeles, California. I moved here 3 years ago. Yes, LA represent, yes. Um, I was a theater major, did theater most of my life, singing, dancing, acting. That slowly leaked into writing my own music and doing an album when I was like 16. You know how the music business is, up and down. Went through, little independent labels. And yeah, I just kind of decided I needed to take my career to the next level because I wasn't where I wanted to be living in South Florida at the time. And I took that leap and I moved to LA. And here we are.
How do you like LA compared to South Florida?
There is literally no comparison. I hate South Florida. I haven't even been home in 2 years and kind of dreading coming home for Christmas this year because I just can't stand it. But LA is beautiful. Just like there's so much creative energy just like around at all times, and I thrive on that. So it's really awesome. I love it.
Now, you got your start with the whole music and I guess acting and modeling with the whole
Mhm.
theater thing, right? Is that how you started?
Yeah, I started with theater when I was about like 4 or 5, and I did it till I was about 18. But that was my foundation for everything was theater, musical theater. Yeah.
And have you always I mean, you started young, you said 4 or 5, but has it
Yeah.
always, has music and all and art in general just always been something you were drawn to, or was it you like did you start off like your parents were just kind of like, okay, go do this?
No, I was always drawn to it. My dad was like a drummer and he played the trumpet and he was in drum corps, and my grandma, she sang a lot. So I feel like I was kind of just like brought up with it. My mom did throw me in theater because I was just always so loud and outgoing, and she's like, "I really think like this would be great for you." And I started at 5 and I just didn't stop till I was 18, and I just fell in love with just being on stage, whether it was singing, acting, dancing. I just always loved to perform and just put on like little shows for my family, and just every night was like Lexi Layne show night for the family. So
Hmm.
yeah.
That's awesome. And you said you write your own stuff.
Yes.
Where do you draw the I don't want to say emotion because that's obvious. Where the
Like
inspiration?
inspiration.
Yes, there you go.
There you
Inspiration. Where
go.
do you draw the inspiration for? Like when you sit down and you're like, okay, I'm gonna write, or does it sometimes just all of a sudden pop out of nowhere?
Everything that I write, I mean, sometimes it's both. All of my stuff is very raw and authentic. All of my songs that are on my EP, which is dropping very soon, that we'll get to, I'm sure. Um, it comes from life experiences, things that I've been through. Even if it was recent, like throughout the past 2 years, or it can stem back from my childhood. I always try to keep my stuff so authentic because I feel like if it's not real and raw, it just comes from a place of like almost like being not completely real and kind of fake.
Almost disingenuine.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm a very like blunt, open, honest person. Like, I'm sure you can just tell my personality is very out there and outgoing, that I don't like to hold anything back. So if I feel something, I totally put my whole and passion into whatever I'm doing, especially my music.
Now, when you say when you were younger, you used to like to play shows and stuff and get stuff together. Like, I know from my experience, you know, even on a local level, like booking shows and getting people to go out, it's such a pain in the ass to begin with. And like, I'm no fucking idiot. I fully understand that women have it harder just about every aspect of life than men do. I'm not dumb. I can see it. I have
Yeah.
eyes. Was it even that much harder to get people to come out to your shows or support you, or even take you serious? Because I have friends now. I've been doing this half my life. Still, some of my friends are like, "Oh yeah, okay, good job," but
Yeah.
it's like, was it that much? Do you think it was that much harder, or do you know it was that much harder?
I feel like personally with like my music and as far as like playing shows and going about that, I feel like I'm not completely there yet because my music hasn't fully dropped yet. So I feel like that kind of cloud hasn't happened yet. But as far as like theater shows or, just again when I was younger, I was in like a traveling group of like singers and I always found it, yeah, a little bit harder to get people to just like come out and watch or like support, especially nowadays. Like it's so hard. Everyone's a musician, everyone's a singer, especially in LA. Like it's just what happens when you move, to those like prominent cities like LA, New York, Miami, So thank God, like I do have a really great following and I have a really good like support system. So sorry, I lost you for a minute. I have a really great
Okay.
support system and yeah, it's definitely something I haven't completely battled with yet though, as far as like live shows, like having that issue.
Now you said South Florida, and you mentioned Miami. Is that where you grew up, or where you're from, or is that just Miami is a well-known city, so you kind of go with that?
I kind of just went with that because it's a well-known city. I mean, I have family that does obviously still live in Florida, but me personally, I grew up in like Broward County area, like Coral Springs, Parkland, kind of,
954, I
you
get it.
know. Yeah, I was a 954 girl most of my life, so
I'm right there with you. I mean, yeah, I'm a 954 girl, whatever.
you're a 954 girl. It's great.
I'll take it. So you mentioned that you have an EP.
Just take it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take it. Of course, why not? You mentioned you have an EP dropping soon. Can you give us any news on that, or is it still hush hush under wraps?
It's definitely not hush hush under wraps. So we definitely have like a deadline now, my team and I, whereas we are kind of taking our time. This has definitely been like 2 years in the making. It's been a very long, draining yet magical process because like as an artist, you write, you lay vocals, and you're like, okay, I'm done. I want my music out to the world, and that's just not how me and my team have done it. We're all perfectionists, and we want everything like super perfect, especially because this is really my first EP I'm dropping. I feel like as like who I want to express myself to the world with my music.
Mm.
So my EP is dropping most likely the end of June or the end of July.
Oh, that's not too far
Which
off.
I'm super excited. Yeah, it's actually really, really soon. So been super busy with just getting, graphics done and photo shoots and music videos. And we have one more song to finish and then it will be complete. But I am dropping another single at the end of this month, which is May. So that I will say also.
Oh, okay. Well, I noticed you
Yeah.
have a couple videos out. I mean, between you and me and whoever listens and watches this, do you do you enjoy shooting videos, or is it like kind of something like you enjoy for like the first couple, hours, and then all of a sudden you're like, all right, let's wrap this up?
No, I absolutely fucking love it because for me, it brings back like my theatrical background and it's almost like bringing my music to life, like in a full picture. So it's like, you write your lyrics, you have your song, and then it's like, okay, well, where can we take this as like a visual? Especially nowadays, like 2021, visuals have become like almost everything. So I thoroughly enjoy being on set. I love, getting to play with ideas and bringing my visions to life to match my music.
That's pretty cool because you said you have another video that's coming out at the end of May.
No, so I'm dropping another single at the end of May, but the music video that I am shooting, most likely the end of July, is for the single that I'm dropping at the end of this
Oh, okay.
month.
Well, no,
Yeah.
that's good. I mean, you make them wait for it, but no, it's smart.
Yeah.
It's smart.
Yeah. You gotta like, pull them in slowly and,
Yeah, you don't want to give them all everything at once. What's the point?
no, and it doesn't work like that. I feel like you engage better when, you give a little and you step back. You give a little and you step back.
No, fully. Trust me, I understand. Um, what is the hardest part you think? Just being a musician, just writing and recording and getting stuff out. What do you think is like? I don't want to say like the worst part because it's. I mean, personally, I've never found a worst part of music. It's always been my escape.
Agree. Agree
But what is just
100%.
like the hardest? Like the one thing that you're just like you don't dread doing, but you're kind of like, all right, let's get this out of the way.
Definitely very easy question. It's the waiting. It's the process. It's, I have songs on my EP that I wrote 3 years ago that, every time I hear it, I re-resonate with it. But then there's also so much new material that I'm working on already, like just as like a writer, that I'm like, oh, like I wish I could put that out right now. But like we're not there yet. So
Mm.
it's definitely the whole process of writing and recording, and then doing it as a demo and tweaking it and then redoing vocals and just mastering it and making sure it's perfect. That's definitely the hardest part.
Yeah, because I know for me, like being a vocalist and not playing an instrument, I know like the hardest part for me was like when we recorded, because like you can't record your vocals without the music. So it's like just sitting around in the
Bingo.
studio, like, okay, yeah, like that was a good take. Like let's keep that one. Let's just move on. Like, please,
Yeah.
I just want to get to my part. That was
Yep.
always like the worst part for me, but um, not the worst. Like I said, not the worst, but that was always the one thing.
It's like that angsty. It's
Hmm.
like that anxious, like, I just want to like be done with this already so I can get it
Yes,
out to the world,
yeah, exactly. Like, please just hurry this up because I have nothing to contribute musically. I need to get this out.
Exactly. Well, I feel the same way. Like I can relate with you. Like I don't play an instrument. I can't read music. I've tried 1,000 times. I can play piano by ear. And there was like 2 years that I started learning like acoustic guitar, and I did everything by ear and I could read chords. And then I was like, this is not for me. Like I just can't. I loved it, but like I also always have long, obnoxious nails. So playing an instrument doesn't work for me either. But that's always the hardest thing with like my producer, who's also like my best friend, and I always say I would be lost without him because he's brought all this music to life. His name's Clint Fowler, and he plays everything, like everything. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'll wait like 3 weeks until the music's done. I'll come in and lay vocals for like 4 or 5 hours, and then I'm done. And then I gotta wait for the next song. And I always like feel bad a little bit. Like I wish I could contribute
Yeah,
more,
yeah, no, of
you
course,
know, but it's like, well, that's just like my gift is my voice. Like that's what I have to offer.
it's not a bad gift.
Yeah, no, not complaining. Just wish I
Yeah,
could contribute more.
no, I hear you. Like listening to your music, I get the feel that um, you draw a lot of inspiration from probably, I mean, this is just what I hear in it. Um, artists like probably like Paramore and Grimes, um, even Amy Winehouse. Is are any of those people that you
Yeah, I
draw your
mean,
inspiration from?
yeah, I mean, again, as like growing up, like seeing little emo kid, me and Nikki, we used to run around just going to every freaking Paramore concert, that whole time. So yeah, definitely Paramore, is a big inspiration. Evanescence in this moment within Temptation. I've noticed like as I get older, I've definitely leaned more towards the more like darker, a little bit more like cynical, that like angsty, angry kind of sound. And I feel like that just kind of, yeah, I just feel like that kind of happened over me just growing into like the woman I am now, and just like, past issues and childhood problems where I'm like, you know what? I've always been like this angry little kid yet like this bubbly happy person. So like I'm going to keep my personality the same, but I'm going to continue to make my music more angry and like raw and in your face, and it works for me. And I'm just happy to see like where it continues to.
It's funny because I was the exact opposite. When I
Oh
was
really?
younger, yeah, when I was younger, all my songs were like I hate everything and I hate everyone. And then as I got older, like everything that I started writing was more like optimistic. Like, sure, I still hate
Okay.
shit, but like there's probably light at the end of that tunnel, and maybe it's not a train. So it's like I totally
Yeah,
get it.
I feel like musicians and artists are almost like hypocrites, because I feel like my personality, like, yeah, I'm like this, sometimes I get angry and whatever, but like my personality for the most part and my day to day life, I'm always so optimistic and I'm such a positive, like spiritual person. And then you hear my music and it's like, oh, well, she's been through some shit. And it's like, it's true, like we've all been through shit. But I think that's so cool. Like the coolest thing about artists is like, we're like chameleons. We can morph into different things and play different parts. And that's like one of the best things about being an artist is it's your own little bubble. And whoever wants to come into it and listen can. And if they don't, well, then there's another bubble you can go, listen to.
there's always other bubbles, exactly. And that's
There's
the
1,000
thing.
bubbles.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, millions probably.
Yes.
See, the thing is like it's funny because you say like we're artists and musicians were hypocrites. In a way, yeah, it's absolutely true. The way I
Yeah.
look at it is like we like our personalities come out and like me personally, and this is what I've been told, like I come off, if you don't like know who I am and have never talked to me, I come off as a huge asshole, and I get it. I don't look friendly when I'm like just minding my own business. I look like I'm gonna fucking kill someone, and I get it. But like once you talk to me, like I'm like a giant teddy bear. Like I don't like I. It takes so much for me to get angry and aggravated. So
Yeah.
it's like yeah, like if you look at me, like yeah, sure, I look like I'm gonna kill half the room. But then it's like you listen to like stuff that I write, and you're like, oh, he's really not that angry. But then it's like at other times, it's like I can look like I'm ready to like hug everybody in the room, and then you listen to another one of my songs, and you're like, oh shit, like okay, he is gonna kill half the room. And I
Yeah.
think it's just like we can have different like artists are so much better at expressing their emotions. And I think that like
Hmm.
when you're a person on the outside looking in, it's very different because it's like some people are like, man, I wish I could like let myself out. And it's like you can. Like anyone
Yeah.
can do it. You just have to find that outlet. And I think
Agree.
that's the thing that people, tend to not realize. And for, like people like you and I, like I think music is our outlet. That's how we get out
It's
everything.
therapy.
Yeah.
It's full on therapy. It really is. I could be in a piece of shit mood and I can write a song about it. And I'm like, oh, okay, I feel better now. I don't want to go like, murder someone. I feel great. It's
Hmm.
therapy.
Do you have your EP comes out either the end of June or July. Do you have a name for it yet?
Yes. So it will be called Sinner and Saint, which is the last single that I released was Sinner and Saint. So that is also the EP title. Yes.
See, both sides.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, it's like that duality versus like good and evil and, what's right and what's wrong and that like middle ground. And I really wanted to do something that expressed both of, I guess, like my personalities, or like just really represented me as like a whole, and you have your angry songs in there, you have your very alpha female dominate kind of slay songs, you have like a little bit of everything. You have your more metal drawn songs versus your like straight rock. So I really wanted to give like diversity and just kind of show musically and lyrically like who I am as an artist and like as a person in general.
What would you say are, I mean, it's hard to pick a favorite song. It's like asking a parent to pick a favorite kid, but what would you say is like your favorite song to rehearse or to go over a play
That's like on my EP
in general,
or
even if
just
it's a
in general.
cover or just
Um, Lately, well, actually not just lately, but for a while, I'm a really big Within Temptation fan. I love her voice. It's just big and belty, and I feel like I resonate with it a lot, like vocally. And they have a song called Supernova. I actually covered it with my producer. We did an acoustic version. I think it was like a year and a half ago or almost 2 years ago. But singing that song acoustic, oh God, it's just like such a, like your feel songs, like it just hits you. I just love singing that song. So definitely that one for sure.
Do you enjoy more of the acoustic, or do you enjoy more of like the heavy? Doesn't necessarily have to be heavy, but the more rock and
Rock, more like band.
yeah.
Honestly, it's definitely a split. It's 50-50. There is no feeling like being on stage with like a band and just fucking going nuts and like belting and wailing off. I mean, that's an adrenaline rush for me. Like that's one of the best fucking feelings. But then I love taking a song and breaking it down acoustic and making everything just simplified and beautiful. So it's 50-50. I feel like it depends like what mood I'm in,
Yeah, no, fully, I understand, because like my band, we played one acoustic show,
I think you froze.
and we did like two originals, and like
Hello?
the rest were all covers, and it was just so different from everything we've or did done before. Um, and playing the acoustic was like so I don't want to say it was more fun.
Fuzzy
Having a
Wi-Fi.
band is probably more fun to me, but doing the acoustic, instead it
Mm-hmm.
was like a whole nother monster almost. And it was cool because like we did a cover of we did the Almost cover, we did a Slaves cover. So it was really cool to do something different and show people a whole different side of the
Oh,
band.
yes. Love Slaves.
Yeah, it was cool. We did I Want to See Your Star Explode as an acoustic song.
Oh, yes. Yes. And it's so funny because I love when Slaves, or Johnny Craig, whatever at the time, kind of broke down that whole album into like that 5-6 acoustic. That is still one of my favorite EP albums, is that whole album broken down into acoustic. It's just fucking beautiful.
Oh, it is. It's that his personal life is a shit show.
I
His
know.
music
He's
is
a
just
he's a thin line. He's a really thin line because I've been a Johnny Craig fan since, I don't know, my fucking emo kid days. And I love his voice. He has one of my favorite male voices, I think, ever, to be
mhm.
honest. I think he's just a genius. Personal life, I try to look at him like separate from that because that's his business and his world, and I don't need to, get into that. But I did meet him, I think it was like 4 years ago, in Portland. I went to a Slaves concert and they were fucking awesome live, and he was just chilling after, and we talked music for a hot second. He was super nice, and I definitely just respect his talent. He's just very, very talented.
Yeah, I didn't meet him. I saw him when he was with Omarosa,
Okay.
and it was like them, The Devil Wears Prada,
Oh,
and Day to
classic.
Remember
Yes.
at the Culture Room.
Oh my God, Culture Room. That, and in Revolution, I bartended at Revolution for 10 years, so kind of lived there.
Oh yeah, so you've seen some shows then.
Oh, I've seen some shows. I've seen everyone.
Who's your favorite solo artist or group artist that you've seen live?
Okay, this is gonna sound so like 15-year-old emo kid of me, but My Chemical Romance is still one of the best bands I've ever seen live. Um, they know how to put on a show. Um, in This Moment, incredible. She sounds great live. Um, Hailstorm. Oh God, I mean, God, this could go on and on. Ghost. Saw Ghosts live twice at Revolution. Um, their whole thing is very dark, but like I love it. Actually, I was working a Ghost show. I was bartending one night, and they set a holy Bible on fire just on the stage, and it went against like our protocol, whatever, at the time, and they just shut the whole show down. It's like insane. Yeah, it's fucking insane. So, everyone has their ways, but that didn't work for Revolution Live.
Yeah, no, probably not. You know what's funny,
Yeah,
because
no.
when you're like, oh, it's going to take me back to like being like my emo 15-year-old self. It's funny because honestly, one of the best live shows I've ever seen, believe it or not, was Kid Rock.
Wow, really?
He sounds just like the album. It is
Oh,
insane.
I love that. I love that.
It is so crazy. And one of the like to like one of the best bands I've seen live, they're completely boring. Like their stage show is just boring. But sound wise is him.
Amazing.
Like the band Him, they sound
Okay,
phenomenal, but they're so boring to watch.
you are so right. Okay, so I was still working at Revolution when Him did their farewell talk for blah, 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 can't speak. Their farewell tour. I saw sounded great. The most boring show I've ever watched in my entire life. Like they just were,
They just stand there.
yeah, they just stand there. And I'm like, oh my God, like you're classic, like you're fucking Him. Like, how is this happening right now? And I've seen them twice. Their
Mm.
other tour was a little bit better, but the farewell tour was just like,
They're like all old and
okay.
fat, and they're just like, man, I just want to get over with.
Yeah, they're like, all right, I've done this 1,000 times. Like, I'm just gonna do this and call it a day. Yeah, they sounded amazing, but visually it wasn't like working,
I think one of probably my favorite band I've seen live, because I've seen them like 6 times, is Atreyu.
Okay. I don't think
They
I've ever seen them live.
they put on one of the most energetic,
Oh, I
just
love that.
balls to the wall show, like
Hell yeah.
nonstop. It's
I
nonstop,
love that.
like
That's great. But that's how
first
shows have
note
to
to last
be.
note. And I mean, I was lucky enough in '06 at Ozfest to
Oh,
play a song with them on stage. So it was
oh
those
my
guys, yeah, those
God.
guys definitely like are my boys. Like I'll hold it down for them. But yeah,
That's
they
awesome.
from note to note, man, those guys just nonstop.
Wow. That's great.
So going off topic, is there any hidden talents that you have that not a lot of people know about or no one knows about? I'm not gonna say no one because I'm pretty
Um,
sure Nikki knows you from head to toe, everything about you.
Nikki knows me inside and out. I mean, that's 20 years of friendship, or sisterhood, I should say at this point. I'm also a burlesque performer. Most people know that, and then I guess I feel like some people are like, "Oh, I didn't know that about you." But I am with a troupe called the Damn DeVilles. We dedicate ourselves more to like the horror rock BDSM fetish community, which is all right up my alley. So I love that. And I've been with them for about 2 years now, 2.5 years. It's just another form that I love. Like I love expressing myself through dance and being like sensual at the same time to like bomb ass rock music. So that's definitely a side thing I do. I'm also a personal trainer. I feel like I'm a jack of all trades at this point, but before I moved to LA, I started my own personal training company. And it did really well. And I was miserable because it wasn't what I was meant to be doing. So I kind of stopped doing it and, obviously moved here and stuff. But I actually still have like a couple clients that I train out here. I don't really like promote it because it's not like my main thing. But from time to time, if you're like on my page, you'll see on my story, like, hey, follow Labor Bell Fitness, like, come to you kind of shit, whatever. Trying to think what else. Yeah, I think that's it. I mean, I do demos. I actually just got a job, which I'm very excited about at a recording studio, doing demos for people and also being a songwriter.
Oh, that's awesome.
So that's like my newest kind of adventure. I did it when I was young. Like I did demos for people when I was like 16, 17, and I just loved it because obviously it's music. And I'm just gonna start doing it again. So I think those are like kind of all my hidden talents that I know of, I think.
Oh, I mean, hey, that's
A
something I didn't
lot.
know. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Is
Yeah.
there anything? I mean, you've already talked about your EP. Is there anything else you want to plug or promote or give a shout out to somebody, something?
Um, Probably just like again, just the EP. That's like the main focus. That's the main thing that is I feel like very important. And it's the next big thing that I'm releasing is the single at the end of this month and then the EP probably latest June, end of June or latest like end of July. So I'm just very excited to finally have the music that I've always wanted to kind of express finally out, and I'm just really excited to see where it goes and what happens after everything's released and to get everyone's input. I think that's like what I'm really excited for the most is to just hear everyone's input, about what they think and what their favorite song is and if they like it, if they don't like it. I just any criticism is good criticism, I think.
Absolutely, and that's the thing. I think you gotta like you have to keep an open mind with it because
Yeah.
I the thing is like when I was younger, I was like, God, I don't understand, people don't like my stuff, and then like I kind of got older, and I was like, I don't really fucking care if people like my stuff. I'm not
Yeah,
making it for everybody. I'm making it for me. So
exactly.
I think like once you get to that point where you can keep an open mind and understand that it's not all criticism is a bad thing. Um,
No,
I think that's how you grow. And if
agree.
you stop growing, then you're fucked. Like it's just there's no way around it. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I've heard the two
Thanks.
songs that you have, the two music videos you put out. I've listened to them multiple times. I always try to promote when I can. So
Thank you. I
it's just
appreciate you.
it's no, of course it's. I mean, you listen. You have to support you know other artists. You have to support your friends. You have to support people that are doing the same thing as you. I mean, that's
Yeah.
you can't be in a clique, like or in a group of
Mm-hmm.
people, and then talk shit about how that group is if you're not doing anything about it.
Agree.
So it's very, hey, if you if you can, why not support what you're doing?
Yeah,
So
I agree. A
that's just the way I
100%.
am. There's no
I'm
point
the
not.
same way. I also think it's like whatever you kind of put out there is what you get back. It just goes all back to like good energy and karma and just not even just like being a good person like for everyone else, just being a good person for yourself, because like you don't want that bad shit to come back to you. And like that's definitely how I try to live my everyday life. And like how I live my everyday life is, you got to support your friends and be proud of yourself and not be too hard on yourself and just know that things don't happen in like a blink of an eye. And I think that's definitely something that like I struggle with like having this EP take so long is I'm seeing rock is really like coming back and like that whole metal emo scene is really coming back, which I knew it would eventually, which is awesome. So I feel like it's like now it's my time to shine. And I'm like they're going on tour. And I'm like, but I could do that and I could do that. And it's like you just have to like be patient and know that your time is just gonna happen when it's gonna happen. And that's it.
That's great advice because I think a lot
Yeah.
of times with anything, whether you're an artist or you're just living your life, I think we tend to want to rush things and we're this especially in today's society. It's a very instant gratification.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem with that is like everything is not instant gratifications. Things take time.
No,
And I mean, I'm guilty of it. I think we're all guilty of it from
I
time to
am too.
time, being like, "Ooh, like this happened, this happened now," and then you start freaking out. And you're like, if you just take a breath and you just take a step back, you're like, "Oh, okay, takes a little longer than I expected, but hey, it'll be worth it." And I
It'll
think
be
that's
worth it. And I always say that too. Like if it was easy or it could be done quick, then everyone would do it.
and it wouldn't be anything
That's what
special.
I try to exactly. So it's okay that things have been a process and it's this whole EP for me has been 2 years in the making. I'm totally okay with that because it's gonna come out exactly the way that I want it. And that's the best
That's what's
part.
important. Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what? Like, and I'm not even bullshitting you trying to blow smoke up your ass because I'm not that kind of person. I don't
me
have time
neither.
for it and I don't care. But I am actually excited to hear it, especially knowing that it
Thank
took
you.
you this long to actually get it done and write it. And because I know these things take a long time, but when you actually sit down and talk to the person, they're like, yes, taking this on, you're like, oh, you grow a new appreciation for it. So yeah, I'm actually super excited to
For
hear it.
sure. Yay. It's become
Um,
my child. It's my baby,
yes, I know how that I know
You understand.
fully understand how that feeling.
Yeah.
Um, anything else you have? Anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. I'm just very excited for, again, everyone to hear the single at the end of the month, and which is, oh, I will release the name because I've already released it on social media, but the next single is called Dominate. So that will be dropping at the end of May sometime, and
I
then
seen the
the
pictures from the
EP.
shoot. Some of the pictures you like
Yes,
oh, like
yes, yes.
that's a lot of leather.
Oh, it's a lot. It's a latex, a lot
Oh,
of latex.
okay then.
I've been doing this thing where I torture myself, and I've been getting all these custom latex pieces made by the wonderful Jane Doe. Her work is just flawless and incredible. And I just always have the hardest time getting into it, and I get sweaty. And then I look at the pictures and I'm like, okay, this is why I did this. This makes sense now. So but yeah, I'm very excited for everyone to hear this single and hear the EP, hear my music.
Awesome. That's great. All right. Last and final thing I'm gonna ask, and I'll let you go. I know you have things to do today. And in all albums, they have a thank you
Oh, you're
section.
good.
If you had to give one big thank you to anybody, ever, anyone, who would it be, and what would it say?
Oh, geez. Oh God, this is hard. This is really hard.
I saved the hardest one for last.
I think I'm gonna say, okay, so I mean this in the most humble way because I'm a very humble person, but I almost feel that I would say thank you to myself. Um, for always like believing in myself, and you kept getting knocked down and knocked down and knocked down. And, when I first moved to LA, I went through 5 different managers in a matter of 2 months. And I was like, fuck it, I can do this shit myself. And then I'm grateful that I stayed sane and kept on my path and met the people that I was able to meet to do this project. So it's thanking myself, it's thanking my producer, Nikki, people that have supported me, through my career. I feel like it's like a plethora of people. But yeah, that's where that lies.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I would expect.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's funny because sometimes it doesn't matter how humble you are. Sometimes you have to sit back and thank yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, this is a very tricky business. It's hard where, there's days I'm like, am I going to make it? Like, am I going to be okay? And it's like, you are. Stop. Like, you're going to be fine. It's going to go the way it's supposed to go. And that's all I can think about. And worrying doesn't do anything. It just puts negative thoughts in your head. And I don't want that in my head. So you just got to go with the flow,
That's it. All right. I mean, hey, I had fun. I had a great time talking to you.
I had a blast with you. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, anytime when your EP drops, come back.
Yes,
Everybody
totally.
be on the watch out for Saints and Sinners, either at the end of July, end of June, July,
June,
whichever
July,
order,
Sinner and Saint.
whichever order the calendar goes in. Yeah, be on the lookout for that. And I guess that's that.
That's that. Thank you so much. Have a good one.
All right, you too.
All right, bye.
Bye.